Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Let's wait for a couple of more people to join, and then I think we should start with the session today.
Sure.
So, thank you so much, everyone, for joining the live session. I hope you all are doing well. So, in our recent sessions, we've had the opportunity to meet experts who provided valuable insights into the process of laser hair reduction and also helped us bust various myths and presented the facts. We learned how this innovative technology can effortlessly remove unwanted hair, saving us from the pains of regular waxing sessions. So, while our previous sessions have been undoubtedly very informative and enlightening, there are certain questions, how effective is laser hair reduction and is it better than other hair removal methods? These are the questions that keep on coming in anyone's mind. So we are here today to sort of discuss this, and we're delighted to welcome back Dr. Amit Karkhanis, who will help us clearing all the doubts. Dr. Amit Karkhanis is a dermatologist with 18 years of experience in skin and laser treatments. He is also the skincare expert with the Femina Miss India for the last decade. Welcome, Dr. Amit. Thank you for joining us again today.
Thank you, Shubhangi.
So, Dr. Amit, to start with, I would like to inform all the people who are watching the live session that we have a very special announcement today that the five lucky winners who will comment with the hashtag UC Laser Lounge, they will get a 10% off on laser hair reduction. And also, there is a link which is pinned in the comment section, which you can check out if you want to have more information. So, Dr. Amit, if you want to start with a very basic question about laser hair reduction, so if you could help us understand what is laser hair reduction and how does it work?
Sure. So, laser removal is a very popular cosmetic procedure designed to permanently reduce or eliminate unwanted hair on various parts of the body. It's something which has been around for almost commercially for almost 25 years now. So, basically, in the US, they had almost experimented 20 years before the technology or before the procedure became available to people in 97, 98. And since then, laser hair removal has been performed. Today, it is one of the most commonly performed cosmetic procedures in the system. So basically, it utilizes very concentrated beam of light known as lasers to target and damage hair follicles. So it inhibits the future hair growth. All females, especially even today, guys as well, but females do not like to have hair, right? So essentially, this is a procedure which can help you get rid of that. So it prevents you from the regular or the like a task of waxing every month. So it's something which you can opt for, which will get rid of the hair permanently or for a long term at least.
Now, that's actually interesting that this was invented some 20 years back and it's been there since quite some time then.
Yes, it's almost like a 45-year history, right? Because for 20
Mhm.
years they experimented with this about the safety. Because see, safety is the number one thing which actually people think about whenever we do any procedure. So only
Hmm.
after 20 years of trials they determined that it's very safe. There are no side effects, short term or long term, and then they commercially made it available in 97, 98. Today, of course, technology has changed a lot since that time. Now machines are a lot more safer as well and a lot more efficacious as well. So primarily, yeah, so it's one of the oldest procedures available for cosmetic actually. So it's almost a 45-year history since we have been doing laser hair removal.
That's quite interesting, actually. So, um, it's actually very amazing to know all of this. So, Dr. Amit, I was also, looking at some people's comments, and there are many people who are confused if laser hair reduction will work on their skin or not. So, if you could help us understand what skin type does it work, or is it if perfectly fine on every skin type and it works like perfectly well there?
It's very interesting to understand what exactly a laser is. A laser is
Hmm.
actually a device. There is a concept of a laser or any light. A light is always attracted towards a dark object. Okay. So laser hair removal always works the best on thick and dark hair. It does not work on very light hair or a white hair. Once hair becomes white, no laser in the world can work on that, right? So basically, because the hair is darker than the skin, that is why the laser light, the energy required to target that is less than the light required to target. So the light required to target the hair is lesser than the light required to target the skin. So essentially, it's very safe. The best results, like I said, come on thick and dark hair. So, for example, underarms, bikini, face. These are the most commonly performed areas. So almost everyone has an issue with these areas, and
Mhm.
that's one of the best areas to perform a laser hair removal. Legs, arms. So there are various body parts on which we do a laser hair removal, which gives very good results.
That's
So
quite interesting. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. You also asked about skin type. So it can be done on
Yeah.
any skin type. As long as
Hmm.
your hair is darker than the skin which we do it on, it will work very well.
So I think we don't have to worry then. I think that's, I think in India mostly,
Yeah.
people have such warm tones, and then, it
Yeah,
should
so it's
be, yeah.
extremely safe on Indian skin at Urban Company, and now we have been doing it at home for a long time. So Urban Company, in fact, uses US FDA approved lasers, right? So
Hmm.
safety is paramount in those lasers. And like I said, any part of the body which has darker hair than your skin is where we can use a laser for hair reduction. So as long as your hair is black and thick, we definitely can give great results.
That's quite interesting, actually. I think that will help answer a lot of audience questions also. So, doctor, there's also one very, very common misconception, actually, that hair growth becomes harder or denser after taking laser hair reduction. Is that true?
Absolutely not. So, the way the laser hair removal is done, primarily when we do the sessions, the area is shaved off, a gel is applied, and then the laser is done in that part of the body. So, what happens is once you do that, then that hair follicle, which is still inside the skin, that kind of pops out and then it goes off, it sheds off. So, a lot of hair follicles, which when we shave, they pop out at the same time we do the session. Some of them power after a few days and then basically fall off. Then the next set of hair growth comes in that area. Hair absolutely cannot become thicker after a laser hair removal. Otherwise, no one would be doing laser hair removal, and millions of procedures of this are performed in clinics and at home throughout the year. So there is no risk of that happening. You would definitely get a benefit of reduction of hair when you do a laser hair removal.
No, that's actually quite interesting because a lot of people, I was also talking to so many friends of mine, and they usually think that, even if one session we go for laser hair reduction, the hair will grow back very, thick or coarse. But it's great to know that, that's not the case. It's just a misconception in people's mind. So I think, Doctor, we have been receiving a lot of audience questions. Let's just take a couple of them and then let's get back to the discussion. So I'm actually very, very happy. Sapna has used the hashtag, and she's asking, does laser hair reduction work on tattoos?
So normally we would avoid doing an area which would have a tattoo on it.
Hmm.
So tattoo removal is something very, very different from a laser hair removal. So basically, where they do the tattoos, that area we would not really target, because the laser used again for a tattoo removal is different than the laser used for a hair reduction, right?
Okay.
So that area is left alone, and we would do all the area around it. Normally, the area where there's a tattoo which is done would probably not have hair as well, because when they're doing the tattooing procedure, a lot of time it damages that area in a way. So it doesn't work on tattoos because it's a different laser which you use for tattoo removal. We don't use it for hair removal.
Okay, okay. I think that helps answer Sapna's question. Now, Divya is asking, are there any specific care instructions for those with a history of ingrown hair or laser bumps?
So, in fact, laser hair removal is a treatment for ingrown hair and laser bumps. So, essentially, someone who has this issue should definitely consider getting a laser hair removal done. And the laser works great on that. So, in fact, the pigmentation marks which come post a procedure, right, or post waxing, it's in fact a treatment to get rid of that. At Urban Company, there is a dermatologist, a doctor who's there to handhold you throughout the process. So actually, when you schedule a appointment for the first time, a doctor is involved. A doctor will take your detailed history, and accordingly will set the parameters which would work best in your case. So along with that, when you have some kind of a problem, there'll be some medicines prescribed to you for that as well. But like again, like I said, like laser removal is in fact a treatment for ingrown hair or laser bumps.
Okay, okay. So I think you don't have to worry at all, Divya. So you can actually go for laser hair reduction, and your ingrown hair or laser bumps will be taken care of. I think let's take last question before we head on to the discussion. So Honey Vora is asking, will my hair grow back if I stop using lasers? Very interesting.
So yeah, so laser hair removal basically requires a series of sessions. So normally we would do 6 to 8 sessions. There is a particular time gap which we need to keep between the sessions. So it's like a month's or 2.5 month gap between the sessions. So normally it takes around a year's time to get 6 sessions done. like I said, it requires between 6 to 8 sessions for the complete laser hair reduction, which would result in around an 80% hair reduction normally.
Okay.
The rest of the hair which remain behind would come as very fine hair. Okay,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
thickness of the hair would go away, and if the hair comes, the 15-20% hairs which should remain would come as very fine hair, for which people might choose to come back in 6 months and do one session as a maintenance that way.
Okay.
So it definitely varies from person to person. For example, 50% of people might not need to do that, but
Hmm.
see, we also have to understand that sometimes there might be a hormonal issue due to which there is a excess hair growth, right? So basically, that problem is still there, but the laser is very, very effective in reducing of most of the hair. So even for a long-term hair removal or hair reduction, we define like a 6 month period to a year's time. If you have a hair-free period, that is normally good. So, like I
Okay.
said, some people might need a maintenance once a year or once in 6 months. Some might not, but that's how normally the laser hair removal works.
Also depends on a lot, like from person to person, I feel. Not everyone has the same hair
For
growth
sure.
cycle.
So, it's very important to do the right areas as well. So, if you have very, very fine hair, you're not the ideal candidate to do a laser hair removal. But wherever the hair is very noticeable, those people will definitely get great results.
Okay, okay. I think that helps answer Honey's question. So let's get back to the discussion, Doctor. But I would like to announce to the audience, you can always use hashtag UC Laser Lounge and ask your questions, send them in the comment box. And top five, users lucky winners actually will get 10% off on their first laser hair reduction service from Urban Company. And of course, if you want to know more about the information about laser hair reduction, you can definitely check out the link which is pinned in the comment box, and you will go to the Urban Company app, and there you can find answers to your questions. So, Dr. Amit, a lot of people, since our topic for the today's discussion is also how effective is laser hair reduction. So, people have been using different kind of hair removal methods since ages, and so they often tend to compare. Ki, will if I get laser hair reduction done, will it be effective, more effective, less effective? Than my traditional method. So, if you could help us answer this question, I think a lot of people have this doubt.
Sure. So, primarily, even at a clinic level, when you do a laser hair removal, essentially there are parameters set by the doctor. Then you go to a room where the laser is used and the session is performed by partners or therapists, right? In Urban Company, the same process is done. So basically, instead of like today, we have online consultation. So, like I said, a doctor is there to handhold you throughout the journey. So, at Urban, when you start a laser hair removal, the doctor has an online consultation with you, assesses the hair growth which you have in various body parts, sets the parameters, and then the partner comes at your own house and then does that setting at your house, right? So it's the same thing. So even in a clinic, a doctor meets you, then you go to a room and the partner does the treatment in that room. Similarly here, it's just that that room is in your house. So the partner is doing the similar kind of machine, similar kind of settings, and the treatment is performed. Also, what is very interesting is it completely is more of a operator driven process as compared to individual process. So no doctor really does a laser removal, it's the partners who do it. At Urban Company, more all the partners in fact have a minimum of 4 years odd experience when they in fact join the platform. So they are all therapists who have worked in clinics for at least 4 years, and they're the senior therapists who are there. So they are the same partners who are coming to your house and doing the treatment uh, under the doctor's guidance, the similar way to the clinic. So it's a great service by Urban, I think, at home. So it's convenience at home with the best results.
And I think it's best to get things done at home, in such extreme weathers. It's definitely, and with so much traffic out there, it's a lot more difficult to step out of the house and plan your day in advance. So it's always better to call someone home for these services.
So it's convenience for sure, right? So basically, this is more of convenience along with the best results,
Hmm.
along with the best machines under the best supervision. So that's what Urban Company has tried to do in this segment, right? And of course, like you said, so today, people would prefer to do things at their convenience. That's an increasing norm in people. So that is something which we achieve by this service at home.
So, Doctor, you were like before this question, you were explaining us, how 6 to 8 sessions are very, very common. You should take these many sessions. So is there also a case when a person has to take more sessions? Like how many sessions? Like are 6 to 8 like a norm for every person, or it also depends on how their growth is?
So definitely, it does vary a little bit from person to person, but initially you would always choose to do 6 sessions, which
Okay.
would show you a result, right?
Mm-hmm.
And post that it will vary from a person to person. For example, if a female has an issue of PCOD, right, and if that issue is not controlled by them by going to a gynecologist or going to a doctor who's giving some medicines for it, so the cause is still there. So the hair will reduce for sure, irrespective of that, but
Mm-hmm.
ideally you should also get that treated with your doctor. Okay. But even if you have PCOD, the hair is a cosmetic problem which you have, so it definitely makes sense to start a treatment on it and start to reduce it off. That's how the laser hair removal works. Along with that, simultaneously you might do a treatment to get in control any medical issue or medical problem which you have. I also saw another question. So underarms is one of the best areas to do a laser hair removal. So I would
Okay.
always recommend anyone to start off with underarms if they'd like, right? See the results for yourself, because underarms, bikini, they're the two of the most common areas which are done by laser hair removal, right? But most people today opt to do like the full body, and today it's become a lot more cost effective, right? So initially the costs were very high when laser came out 25 years back. Today I think compared to those costs, it's almost at a one fourth cost, and in fact Urban Company has in fact made it one of the most economical costs in the market, I think. So it's something which you can definitely try off. You can even try starting off with one area like a underarm, and then once you like it, and most people invariably do, then you can of course proceed and do larger areas as well.
I think, yeah, and as you earlier explained that it works really really well on the coarse skin, like coarse hair, sorry, and harder hair. So I think in that sense, underarms is a very good area to start with then.
Yeah.
So I think, Dr. Amit, let's take some more audience questions. A lot of people have been commenting, so let's just dive into it. So Shivangi is asking, can laser hair reduction cause skin discoloration or pigmentation?
No, there is no pigmentation or skin discoloration post the laser hair reduction. In a worst case, suppose someone gets a minor burn, right, which never happens, but in a worst case, that's something which will settle off in 3 4 days. Okay.
Hmm.
But a laser hair removal will never cause any long term or short term pigmentation or skin discoloration. The laser, like I said, like we discussed, right, it's been something which has been studied for almost 45 years now, and there's a lot of long term data on people as to showing the effects on it. So definitely a lot of people might be a little apprehensive that is it safe to use a light, and would there be any side effects post, after a few years. And that's all been proven because it's US FDA approved, Indian FDA approved as well, and this all talks of only safety. So from a safety perspective, it's 100% safe, and that's been proven over this number of 5 6 decades, right? So laser removal can never cause skin discoloration or pigmentation, otherwise no one would do it, right? We would have so many cases by now coming up, but we have never seen a case. But like I said, in the worst case, if suppose someone unfortunately gets a small burn in one of the areas, it's something which is short term, it will go away.
But you are saying that's very, very like uncommon, like that almost never happens.
Extremely rare, but because the question was asked, I'm just saying
Mhm.
that, right? It's something which should take 2 3 days to settle off. But again, it's probably 1 in 500 cases which
Huh.
might kind of have that. But again, that's something I'm just addressing. No, it will. So basically, the answer is no. The laser reduction cannot cause skin discoloration or pigmentation.
Yeah. Nothing to worry about then. I think people can just go ahead with the laser hair reduction then. I
Yeah.
think let's take one more audience question before we jump into the discussion. Okay, Sony has been actually used, the hashtag UC Laser Lounge. So she's asking, are there any specific maintenance requirements after completing a treatment course in laser hair reduction? I think we have discussed this, doctor, but we can, of
Sure. So
course,
there's
ask.
no specific maintenance requirements. You would continue everything like you're doing. There's nothing else which you need to do. So laser hair reduction, especially with Urban Company at home, the therapist comes to your house, does the treatment. There is nothing which you need to do. There are some certain things like a moisturizer or a skin cream which might be suggested to you to use for a couple of days or 3 days after the procedure. There is nothing else you do post that. It's completely normal. So there's no downtime in a laser hair removal. Like you could do it right now and just go to your next meeting, right? That's fine. Again, it's a long-term treatment, so there is no maintenance requirements after completing a treatment course. Like I said, some people might choose to do an additional setting at 6 months or a year's time, but that's a personal choice. Once you have the hair reduction, a lot of people are just comfortable with that and don't choose to do anything again. But some people might choose to just do it once in 6 months. So compared to waxing or threading, which you need to do monthly, this definitely becomes a long-term solution, for that issue.
So let's take one more question that I think Jyoti is asking. My skin is very sensitive, so any side effects? I think she's asking, will there be any side effects if she goes for laser hair reduction because her skin is sensitive?
No, there is no side effects. So obviously, sensitive skin, like I said, a doctor would discuss and would try to understand your individual case if there is something specific. So a lot of people, in fact, have very sensitive skin, and like I said, a laser is a very very safe device to use. A laser hair reduction device is only meant for laser hair reduction, like the earlier question which had come regarding tattoos, right? So we are not using a laser which is for tattoo removal on a hair reduction person, or a laser meant for acne on a hair reduction person. So we are using a laser which is only meant for laser hair removal for that person, for that need. So even if you have a very sensitive skin, don't worry about it. It's extremely safe to do. There are no side effects. Obviously, with a sensitive skin, the area might be a little more reddish for the day you do the treatment, but that's the only probably thing which you might experience for a few hours, and post that you'll be back to normal. So it's very safe to do on all kinds of skin. And like I said, at Urban Company, we have a doctor who would definitely consult you before you start the treatment, start the session, and they would discuss in depth in your individual case.
So I think the audience, if you want to know more about how laser hair reduction is done at Urban Company, please feel free to go to the link which is pinned in the comment section, and that will help and answer a lot of your questions. And we will take some more audience question later on. Just I think Dr. Amit, let's get back into the discussion. So I was just also curious to know, so there have been various traditional methods which have been existing since so long, right? So how do you think laser hair reduction is better than, say, waxing or using epilators?
So primarily, laser removal is a long-term treatment for this issue. Like I said, most people don't like hair, right? So essentially, if you do 6 or 8 sessions, it helps you to take care of that problem. While a waxing or a threading is something which you would do probably monthly, and you would have to do it for years and years. While a laser hair removal is something which you would only do 6 to 8 times, and maybe as a maintenance, you might do it once a year or twice a year after that. So even cost-wise, there was actually a comparison study done on this, and basically it said that it's so much actually more economical for laser hair removal as compared to waxing over a 20-year journey if you actually compare the cost, right? So in that sense, it definitely makes sense to go for a laser hair reduction. And like I said, you can always start off small. It's not that you need to really think of a full body and do that. You can always start off with underarms to begin with. At Urban Company, in fact, we also have some trial sessions, which is like one session which is done, which also for the experience, you can experience it, understand it how it is. Because a lot of people, I think, have a mental picture that it's painful, this that, but it's not actually like that. It's a very very simple process. You'll in fact be surprised probably at how simple it is, and how effective it is, right? Another thing which I just saw a lot of questions on age especially, so I would like to address that. See, normally below 18, I would not suggest anyone to do a laser hair removal. I think at 18 is when most of your growth and your body is more or less, in a stable condition. So post 18, I think, is when you should consider doing a laser hair removal, and that's the ideal age to do it. So if you're below 18, I would not suggest you to go for it. But post 18, at any age, you can definitely consider. People of all age groups do a laser hair reduction. So from 18 to literally 80 years, do a laser hair reduction. But like I said, if you have white hair, a laser would not work on it, but as long as you have dark hair or black hair or thick hair, it would work great on it.
So I think people should not think twice or thrice before going for the treatment, since it's been so common now, and almost every other person is getting laser reduction done. So I think there's definitely some science behind it, and it's definitely very very safe, and people shouldn't, yeah.
Of
So
course, there's tons of science behind it. So not
yes.
not true, but there's a lot of science behind it. Yeah.
So I think, Dr. Ahmed, let's take some more audience questions. I think people have been pouring some interesting questions. So let's just take some of them before we wrap up the session for today. So Manju is asking, what are the right questions to ask my laser hair reduction expert while signing up for laser hair reduction? That's quite interesting, I think.
So I think the first thing is which are the ideal body parts in your case, right? Like I said, if you have very fine hair, I would not consider that the best candidate for a laser hair reduction. So as long as your hair is thicker and darker, those areas are the best. So one is to identify which areas in the body would work best for you. Secondly, is the machine USFDA approved from a safety? But again, over here at Urban Company, all the machines we use are approved from a safety point of view with the FDA. Another thing is, of course, the precautions and all, which would be explained to you at Urban anyways. Like I said, a dermatologist, a doctor is there to handhold you throughout the journey. So basically, they would give you all the post laser precautions as well. So I think it's important to understand what expectations you should have. So you should definitely ask all those questions to the doctor, so they would set you on a right expectation level, because this is a long term procedure. It's not something which is immediate, but in the sense the long term results. So even if you do one session, you would see a hair reduction in the first session itself. So you would notice that if you're undergoing waxing every month, once you do a laser hair reduction, even one session, that gap is improved, that gap is extended. So that's something which immediately you will experience. So I think, yeah, it's a great question, and I think these are the few things which you must ask the doctor at Urban.
So I think, yeah, as Dr. Amit was telling us, there is a doctor consultation which is available on Urban Company app. So you can definitely, Manju, if you want to know any such answers, like if you want to ask, even, contact the doctor. So you can just simply go into the app. The link is pinned in the comment section, and you can definitely schedule an appointment. Next question is from Shilpi. She's asking, is it safe to undergo laser hair removal on the face? I think a lot of people are concerned because it's face, it's the most important part of your body.
Is completely safe. So, for example, upper lips, chin, extended chin, sides, these are very common areas which we do with the laser hair removal. Normally, we don't really address the forehead, okay? But normally, the lower face is something which we address a lot more with laser hair removal. Yeah, so it's extremely safe to do. Again, I saw someone speaking of sensitive skin. Don't worry if you have sensitive skin. It's extremely safe to do in sensitive skin as well, right? So, and again, like I say, you can always take a trial session, experience it for yourself, so you're very clear as to how the journey is. And
Yeah, I
one more
think.
thing, I see a lot of questions of age on the higher side. So at any age you can do a laser hair reduction. There is no limit on the upper age group. Like I said, after 18 anyone can undergo laser hair reduction. Only thing, post 60, if you have white hair, then it's something which will not be effective on. So it will never work on white hair. Also, I call a question on science of laser reduction. The basic, very simple science. It's a science of selective photothermolysis. Actually, the simple science is the light energy which affects the hair is lesser than the energy affecting the skin. Because the hair is darker than the skin, that's why the laser hair reduction works off very nicely.
Understood. Understood. I think that helps answer Shilpi's question as well. So you can definitely, Shilpi, go for laser hair reduction on the face, and as suggested by doctor, you can just simply go ahead and book it, and don't need to worry about any of the side effects. Let's take a few more audience questions before we actually wrap up the session for today. So Shweta is asking, I'm really happy that everyone's using the hashtag UC Laser Lounge. So audience have actually been listening very, very carefully. So Shweta is asking, are there chances of regrowth? I think she means after getting laser hair reduction treatment, are there chances of hair regrowth?
So, like I said, there'll always be a hair reduction, right? So once you complete the 6 to 8 sessions, the hair will reduce off very, very nicely by around 80% or so, 80-85% or so. The hairs which remain would come as very fine hair. Okay. In some people, you might need to go back after 6 months or a year's time, and you will need to do one session as a maintenance. Okay, that's a personal choice. A lot of people don't do it. uh, some people opt to do it. So that's what you do post the laser hair removal. All the sessions are over. Okay. One more question I saw: will it leave a stain for a long time? There is no stain after laser hair removal. It's basically you apply a gel. Like I said, you come for a laser hair removal when the partner comes to your house from Urban. Essentially, we shave off the area, apply a gel, we do the laser, and then the area is cleaned off. So there is no question of any stain or anything. You look exactly the same pre and post treatment. So if you have very sensitive skin, you might have a little redness on the skin, which will just settle off in a couple of hours or so. So that's how laser hair reduction works. It's a very, very simple procedure at Urban Company. It's a very safe thing to do at home.
I think a lot of people are also asking doctor about the price range at Urban Company. And I think how you explain that it has actually become very, very affordable as compared to 10 years back, what the prices were.
Yeah. So, I think price wise, it's been a complete revelation currently. I think at Urban Company, we offer a price point of below 50,000 now for 6 sessions for 8 body parts. But, if you go to the Urban Company app, because there are so many different combinations to look at, right? And like I said, you should do areas which are right for you. So, of course, for a lot of people, the full body would be the best way to go. But for a lot of people, it might just be underarms or might be specific areas of the body. Also,
Hmm.
the trial sessions are there on the app. So if you go on the app and you see it, because there are more than 50, different price combinations which you can choose for. But essentially, like I said, just to give you an idea, for 6 sessions for 8 body parts, it's below 50,000. And Urban Company offers EMI as well, which are non-interest bearing. So that's also an option which you can do.
So I think that becomes very, very light on the pocket, especially the EMI option.
Yeah, it's,
That's
it's I
amazing.
think very light on the pocket. Yeah, because it's divided into 6 EMIs, 12 EMIs. So there are so many options that I think it's very, very affordable.
I think if any one of you audience wants to check out the pricing, you can also actually click on the link which is pinned in the comment section, and that will take you to the Urban Company app, and you can actually look at what are the various different options available there. I think Dr. Amit, let's take two more questions from the audience because I have been looking at the question and they're all sorts of like different, very, very interesting questions. So Jyoti is asking, I have hair on my chin area. If I go for laser, how much area will be covered? Will it take care of the entire chin or?
It will definitely take care of the entire chin. So if you opt for a chin area, that's the area which will be covered off, right? So yeah, and if you have a few hair around this area, chin, extended chin, there are different ways to do it. It's best to schedule a consult with the doctor. So with the Urban Company app, you can even schedule a consultation with the doctor, and the doctor can guide you as to what exactly might be best in your case. So I think that's a great option as well to do when you're unsure of these things. So, but yeah, if the chin you select, the whole chin will be covered for sure when you opt for the procedure.
That's actually interesting. I think also you mentioned how there are different combinations also available on the Urban Company app. So I'm sure there is everything for everyone.
Yeah.
So Ankita is asking, can laser hair reduction be done on acne skin?
Laser removal can be done on acne skin as well. So if you have a very, very full grown kind of acne, obviously we will, just check whether we need to delay the session or not. Again, like I said, a doctor will consult you during the starting the treatment. But normally on acne, there is no problem to doing a laser hair reduction. Normally, the area where we do the laser hair reduction is different from the area where you have acne. But if you have a few active acne, there's no problem when we're doing the laser hair reduction. So we can definitely do it on acne prone skin.
I think that helps answer Ankita's question as well. Um, I think there's one more question. Let's take that. I think Divya is asking, is laser hair reduction equally effective for both men and women? Or is there some hormone role to play?
So at Urban Company, we only offer it for women. So it's a completely woman-driven
Hmm.
service. So all the partners are women, all the doctors except me, they'll all be women actually.
Hmm.
But so for men also, it's very, very effective because men in fact have thicker hair, right? And they have thicker hair on all body parts. So for men, it's very effective as well.
I think then everyone can go for laser hair reduction, so to say.
Yeah. For sure.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amit, for the session today. You have actually enlightened us with such great knowledge and also helped answer audience's question. I think which will be very, very beneficial for them in their journey of considering laser hair reduction. Thank you so much, audience, for joining in. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment section. We will definitely take them up, in the next live session, which will be exactly after 2 weeks on the Friday. So please feel free and even if you have any more things related to laser hair reduction at Urban Company, you can definitely go to the link which is pinned in the comment section and check out the app. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.